2024-3, 8525 Lakeshore Drive, residential developmental standards variance, side and rear setback. Staff ready with an overview?
I think you can, Mr. President, you can guess our recommendation now. And I know petitioner is here and their attorney is here. They may have some argument one way or another, but if you like, we can read our recommendation at this point. The petitioner is seeking a development standard variance to increase floor area ratio, number one. That's number two is to increase the maximum lot coverage, and three, to reduce front yard setback by substantial amount. While the first two development standard variance that is requested are less visually impactful, the third one, the setback, is could be impactful, certainly to the lakefront and to the neighbors of the petitioner. And the petitioner proposes to add a screened-in porch and as well as a large deck on the back. Staff, due to a variety of reasons that I've already stated, including inclement weather, as you're aware, has not been able to even visually inspect the site, and that visual connection is very important in this case, that for us to visually analyze the site. And we would like to request a meeting with the petitioner to discuss his plans. He has submitted a plan, and we do have a copy of it. Again, it may be a full set of plans, maybe in the office. We have not seen it, but we would like to see those set of plans and discuss it with them and review it with them. For these reasons, we are not prepared to make a recommendation at this point, and we are requesting a deferment of this to our next meeting. And again, we are apologizing, and we would like to ask the petitioner. We will reach out to the petitioner for a meeting to review his case.
Thank you, Mr. Arshami. Is there anyone here? Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Mark Anderson, 9211 Broadway, on behalf of the petitioner. So we're here with respect to the three different developmental standards variances. The first two are pretty minor, and they are looking to change the floor area ratio from a maximum allowed of 0.5 to 0.52. We're also looking to change the maximum lot coverage from the 35% that's allowed to 38% that is being requested. And the third is to ask for the front yard setback to be modified. And this is the third one you talk about that seems to be more significant, from 24 feet to 5 feet. And I just want to make clear, though, with respect to the third matter, if we need to defer, that's totally fine. But I think we provided with the rest of the documentation a survey that shows that there is an existing deck that's grandfathered in that is about 5 feet from the setback line. There's also addition, and so we're looking to basically keep that same location, if not even maybe reduce it, actually increase the setback in the proposed improvements. And then there's also the existing house that's in place is less than 24 feet back. So it's being grandfathered. So the request, well, it seems like a significant reduction from 24 feet to 5 feet. It's actually, we're at 5 feet right now under, where the house has been for decades. So that's another thing I wanted to bring forth, and you'll probably need to do a site visit to confirm this, but that would, if we could in some way move forward, that'd be great with respect to that, though. And we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
I do have photos of.
Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, even though we're sure you're the petitioner.
Dennis Peterson, 8525 Lakeshore Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. You may proceed.
So neighbor that would be most visually impacted by what our proposed development is, I went up to their deck. We're good friends, okay? And matter of fact, I contacted all my neighbors and then some, verbally as well as the certified letters. This is actually it as it exists right now. Good. This is from my neighbor's deck. This is the portion that we're talking about. I put my house from the construction back in that same side. Okay, and use the foundation. Okay. The deck is like about 5 feet off of the back lot line. I would say it's been there for years. You know.
Is this the deck right here?
That's
That's already 5 feet from the,
correct.
okay.
And this is looking down from my neighbor's deck when I take this picture to show you how it visually impacts them. It really doesn't impact them because of this huge sycamore tree over here. You can't see through it. You know? So, and they were okay with that, you know, obviously because they could have spoke up about it very easily if they're here. And like I said, extensive conversation when I started talking to all my neighbors, I didn't realize it would go into $7 million, but hadn't talked to a lot of these folks in a little while, so. But that's it. And then the other thing is, I mean, I'm nearly a year, okay, including this gentleman here, he's like my fourth. Sometimes he just goes to radio silence, and I come in, and I'm not that you know, this is zoning board last month because there was not a quorum. And this makes all the difference in the rules. I need to sign contracts. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So, and the city has had a full set of plans since last.
I do thank you, Mr. Peterson. So are there any questions from the BZA? That is a question for the staff. Member Cook has asked, has the letters as necessary required by the process gone out?
Yes, yeah, those letters went out. Regina, do we have the green cards? Yeah, Regina's back there. She's behind you. She's nodding yes. Yeah, I mean, we can take your word for it.
We don't need them. Member Cook just wanted to know.
Yeah. When our staff says they have them, we'll take the word for it.
What did you say, Mr. Cook? What Mr. Cook, I believe, is asking is the response. How many were opposed? How many were in favor? If I'm asking.
I would say the zoning staff email did receive one remonstrance letter in opposition. They have stated reasons here. Right now, we haven't opened up for public, for the public portion of this, so I can reserve that. Definitely make sure to express that, the written in correspondence from a neighbor out there, but ultimately, if we're going to defer the item.
Right. So, didn't mean to cut you off, Council, but that's where my whole mind was going. I do appreciate the presentation. Based off of staff recommendation, it's good practice because you may have to do it again, depending on the recommendation that is being made and how the BZA ultimately moves to council's point, if we want to entertain the remonstrances, we would have to open up public portion to do so. My question becomes, is that the will of the BZA, and is that a measure we want to take at this time in response to staff's recommendation? Meaning, do we want to go through this routine, having, with more than likely having to do it again? Hold on, Mr. Peterson.
In my opinion, if we're gonna defer the agenda item, you know, as far as an actual item, whether we're going to deny, or approve or modify the request at a different hearing, we might as well wait to see what works out between the, staff and meeting with the petitioner, see if there's any issues that could be ironed out, have them present that, and then based upon that, at that next meeting, go over any remonstrances and see if there's still any issues that exist. I mean, if there is anybody here from the public that does want to speak on behalf or against it, and they are not going to be able to appear at the next meeting, then I would suggest you take that information now. But if there is nobody here to speak on the agenda item from the public, either proposed or either in remonstration or support, then I would just suggest holding off opening the public portion and public comment until after this issue with staff and the petitioner has been worked out. Does that make sense?
So, Mr. Peterson, I'm going to provide you with the opportunity. You wanted to say something else, you can come back to the podium and say it.
Former Commissioner Dave Stahl, we've been there, two of us worked together on this, and I know that Mr. Cole was involved in this as well, and, all three recommended for approval of this matter. Okay, and I kind of feel like I understand we're changing, administrations and all this, but it's a year. Next month, it's a year for me. And I've been on this thing the whole time. So I kind of feel like the city had all this time to do whatever diligence they have. I'm presenting you with photos. And I did my part. And, this is really jeopardizing my project for this year. And who knows if I'll even do it next year. It's just, been put through the ringer on this, so.
I do understand, Mr. Peterson, and I am most sincerely sorry about that. I do apologize. Having said that, I do not think it will take another year. But the incoming administration and their newly positioned staff deserve the opportunity to give you the appropriate attention you need. It is not your fault it fell between the cracks again. I am so sorry for that. I don't know that there's anything else we can do other than the recommendation being made and ensuring that immediate due diligence is provided to Mr. Peterson given the circumstances he's been placed in.
Mr. President, I can assure you that if we receive the information and have the ability to have conversations with the petitioner, we will try to resolve all the issues that may arise. As you mentioned earlier, we are aware of that there were 14 notices that were sent out. Only one objection was received, and we're aware of that. And but this case does require, it's a very sensitive area of the city and does require further analysis and conversations. And again, I would like to express my apologies for this. We do want to also look at if there was you indicated there was a case last year that there was a staff recommendation for this approval of this petition. We would like to see that and send it to us. And we would also like to have, if you could, send us those extra pictures that we do not have, that's not part of your petition. We would like to see it. We'd certainly like to come and physically review the site.
Thank you, Mr. Arshami. Mr. Peterson, let me say this, and I'll put my name on this. I know you're frustrated. I would be frustrated. I wish there was something I can do. The one thing I can do is I promise and I assure you that it won't take another year. There will be responsiveness. I can tell you this without making it seem like I'm speaking ill of the previous administration. I've never seen this BZA during my tenure this well attended, number one. Number two, the building commissioner is a part of the BZA. Number three, the city's chief operating officer is with us in the audience and is hearing everything that is taking place. And I'm more than positive Mr. Suggs won't mind me speaking on his behalf. We will ensure that you will have responsiveness.
A matter of fact, thank you, Chair, and I certainly apologize to the BZA, and I appreciate your energy and your effort. This is unfortunate that you are having to face the disappointment, and I want to thank also Mr. Shami for engaging with us. This is unfortunate, and I personally apologize again. My name is Michael Suggs. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the City of Gary. You don't know what you have until you get it, and unfortunately, when we arrived, we had some opportunities to be responsive to the needs of the community. We are trying to show up those opportunities and do things in a disciplined manner. And I can appreciate your frustration. I am building a house near you currently, and I've had some challenges myself. But that being said, I will make sure that we are accountable and responsible and responsive to the needs of the community. But we have to do it in an organized manner. These gentlemen are putting their reputation on what they're voting on. And unfortunately, that didn't happen until they saw it in front of them. And so I want to give them the opportunity to do the job that they were asked to, that they swore into. And I apologize again, and I'll offer you my name and my contact information to assure you that we are responsive and accountable. And again, I apologize not to just you, but to everyone here. I'm not sure what the outcomes are, but we knew that this is something that we would have to face publicly, that we did not have the capacity to do what we needed to do until this point. So again, I hope you can accept my apology, but I can't give you the guarantee that we will do better and we'll respond in a professional and organized manner. So again, I just want to say that publicly. And again, you all, I thank you for being here. I thank you for your commitment to taking care of this responsibility. And Mr. Shami, thank you for stepping in.
Mr. Peterson?
I just gotta say, I'm confused of what I need to do. I mean, I have photographic evidence here.
There's
Plans, have been there for.
There's nothing that you need to do, Mr. Peterson. Counsel?
I will say this. I mean, I want to say that there's part of this disconnect too. Is obviously there. We obviously have the change in the change in administration, but there was also not a zoning. We did not have a zoning administrator. I know that you had mentioned AJ Bittner. You had mentioned David Staff. From a building perspective, and so I think what you need to understand is there are obviously there's the developmental standards variances. There's obviously concerns that we have to go through and looking at what those standards are and the criteria that meets them. Obviously, if we have I think it's only fair that if you have new staff that comes in, I don't know how many times we kind of go over this. They need to be able to assess it from in a full and fair way. I mean, even, and Mr. Peterson is correct, I did speak to him. I said I agreed with some of the assessments, with the assessments that had previously been made, but I said I would explain my position. I do have issues even with some of with some of the plans that are here. And I can talk to you before the next meeting about what those are. I know Mr. Arshami is going to talk to you about those as well. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, I think we're essentially beating a dead horse.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Having heard, we didn't open up, did we? Okay. Having heard all of the discussion and recommendation from staff, what is the BZA's pleasure? Having been moved and properly second, are there any other questions on readiness? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, council.
Member Allen?
Yes.
Member Cook?
Yes.
Member Jones? Member Bonds?
Yes.
Member Hawkins? With a vote of 5-0, the motion to defer passes.